as promised, it's Tuesday, Otako Tuesday, and we will be doing a spoiler-free review of maybe the most anticipated anime film of all time. Evangelion 3.0+1.01, Thrice Upon a Time.
We're still not sure about the 0.01, but yeah.
Welcome to Otako Tuesday.
NANI?
Otako Tuesday.
I forget that thing's really short.
Yeah, it's very short.
But I love it. It's great.
I can't even hear it either.
What? You can't hear it?
No?
Well, hopefully the levels are fine. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Any comments, questions, or suggestions? As always, you can find me at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Eric, where can they find you? What are you doing? What are you doing?
You're peeking.
Oh, sorry. Am I too loud? I mean, I can just back up from the mic.
Yeah, you're being a little loud over there.
Anyway, where can they find you?
Look me up on the Instagrams as Dicky Senpai.
There you go. And he's going to be doing streaming again as Dicky Senpai. You can always find that.
That's right. Find me on
DIKKY. Anyway, so we're going to do a spoiler-free review today of, like I said, not Neon, just of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.01 Thrice Upon a Time. Whoever named this movie is a dumbass. Like, seriously a dumbass.
It's a fucking genius.
It's the last movie of the Rebuild series, and the other ones were named Rebuild of Evangelion 1.0, right? Or 2.0, 3.0. And the names actually had a theme. It was, you cannot repeat, in parentheses, you cannot undo, you cannot. And here's just like Thrice Upon a Time.
Listen, I'll defend it.
The name?
I will make an argument. I will debate you.
Okay, so let's hear it.
What was the first thing that I told you when I saw this movie?
Yeah, okay, Eric said, we need to clarify this, timeline-wise. Eric saw this on Friday with his friends.
The day it came out.
I finished watching this like 20 minutes ago. Eric watched the second half again for the second time.
Yep.
So he's got an advantage of me. To me, it's fresh. He's had time to sit on it, and he had like a second rewatch. And what he told me, immediately after watching the movie, it was like, this is the most Evangelion movie ever. That's what he said. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's a bad thing, but that's what he said. After watching the movie, I concur. This is the most Evangelion movie ever.
The most Evangelion thing ever.
Yes. I take that as a good thing, take it as a bad thing, but it is the most Evangelion movie ever. And I'm going to get this out of the way, because it's the most... Well, before I get the most important thing out of the way, just a quick reminder. I talked about this last... What was it, Wednesday? We're in an Evangelion theme month now.
Yeah.
Today is going to be a spoiler-free review of the fourth movie, so it's spoiler-free. From here on out, next Otako Tuesday, we're going to do a full review of Neon Genesis Evangelion, full series. After that, we're going to review.
Wait, are we doing full series and movies?
Yes. Well, the movies we can do afterwards because it's their own separate thing.
Well, no, because End of Eva is the end of the series.
No, we're just doing the series and then we're doing the movies. There's a lot to say about both.
You mean, wait, no. The movies, I mean End of Eva.
Yes.
Not the rebuilds.
Yes.
So we're doing the series and End of Eva.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I
The
meant.
Neon Genesis Evangelion movies, yes.
Yeah, not the rebuilds.
No. And then after we do that, we're going to do Rebuild 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do the review of Rebuild 4, which is the latest one we're doing right now, but with spoilers. So there you go. So there's going to be a lot of Evangelion going on. But it's important. It's one of the most iconic anime franchises of all time. Well, like I said, this was probably the most anticipated anime film of all time.
We're just kind of in
both good and bad.
In that mood, you know what I'm
honestly,
saying?
Yes.
Yeah,
honestly, yes.
Ava's in the air.
Ava's in the air.
My mouse pad is an Ava mouse pad.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm gonna bring my the figurine that I bought in Japan. I told everybody that you wanted us to dress up.
I did.
That
I still do. But you're a coward.
I'm not a coward. I told you it's out of our budget. We don't have $50 to spend on a fucking joke each. All right. After watching the movie, though, the costumes are pretty cool. So it's rough.
It's neat.
It's rough. I look good in red. Anyway, so
she was also in white in this one.
But it doesn't look as good.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it feels wrong. Anyway, so the most important thing that you need to know about this movie is it's the fourth movie of a series. So, do you need to see the other three Evangelion movies to understand this one? The answer is yes. You need to watch the other three movies.
Wait.
However,
I'll put a caveat there.
Okay.
Because I saw this movie with my friends. 3 of them or two of them had already seen Ava. They've seen the rebuilds. They're big fans like me. One of them had never seen anything Ava related ever. And at the end of this movie, we were all equally confused.
Yes. So let me finish my point. The point is, you do need to watch all the Evangelion movies. However, it would not help you understand this one.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not even a little bit.
It will help you be not as surprised on how confused you end up.
True.
Because at the end, I had my arms crossed and I was smiling because I was like, this is so fucking Ava.
It is so
this
fucking
is
Ava.
so Ava.
So, just right out of the gate, it's a terrible movie.
Horrendous. The worst thing ever.
And I'm not talking about just as a random movie, not as a hardcore fan of Neon Genesis Evangelion, not as a hardcore fan of anything. As plot-wise and all that stuff, it doesn't make any sense. The pacing is terrible, because the climax is right in the middle of the movie, and then it kind of ends. It's all downhill from there. It's all talk and no show, and I hate it. A movie you're supposed to show, don't tell, and they're just telling. So it's just talking, and it's supposed to be a fucking action movie, and it actually builds up to a pretty interesting fight, and then it ends. It's like, okay, we're talking from now on, and the direction of the conversation I did not particularly enjoy.
So everything that Dario just said is wrong.
Oh, what?
This movie was fucking fantastic.
He's trolling
It's
you. He's trolling.
so
He's
fucking
trolling you.
good.
He's trolling. you.
But it's so fucking Ava. Okay?
Listen,
If you know how to enjoy Ava, if you enjoyed Ava, you're gonna like the movie.
Listen, I really like.
First off, it's really well made in terms
I'll give it
the
that.
movie looks fucking incredible.
Except the 3D stuff. I hated the 3D stuff.
Some of the 3D stuff bugged me. I didn't like the 3D Avas in particular, but some of the stuff in the climax, let's say, worked in 3D because it was supposed to look otherworldly and sort of like, what the fuck is going on?
But it looked like crappy 3D.
It was some of it, I guess.
And they had the budget for it. They had the money for it.
The thing is, it looked off-putting, which I think is what they were going for. They weren't going for necessarily, the most beautiful 3D. Like if you've seen the Resident Evil 3D movies, those look beautiful. This was supposed to look off-putting and sort of ethereal and stuff you'd put on a wallpaper and you'd be like, what the fuck am I looking at?
I guess I just didn't like it. It felt like it looked crappy. Like the quality looked crappy. But anyway, that doesn't really matter. The point is, it has good effects. The fighting's awesome. They added a feature to one of the Avas where it's a wheel that I thought was fantastic.
So I think the main issue here is that you totally misclassified this movie. This is not an action movie.
What is it?
It's an Ava movie.
Okay. What is Ava?
It's a character analysis.
Okay. And
that's what it is. That's what it always has been. Just with the backdrop of crazy fucking like robots and mechs and crazy like metaphysical symbology and philosophy and all this crazy stuff. At the end of the day, and this is what I realized, sort of letting the movie marinate a little bit. I think that's the entire appeal of Ava. And which is why I figured this is going to be the last Ava story we see. Because this is not a universe where you can just replace the characters.
No.
This is not, for example, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, that universe, you can make multiple series within that universe. Because it's not really about those characters in particular. It's about the story
of the world, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can't replace Asuka.
No.
You can't just replace her and throw in another tsundere over there. You can't replace Shinji. You can't replace Rei.
Nobody else can be that annoying.
No, but you can't. It's them. They are the draw of Evangelion. They are the appeal.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The most interesting part of the movie is the first half, where it's the character interactions. It's slow, but it's interesting. The setting is super interesting.
The first half is basically a slice of life, and it's super comfy because
In a way.
it's.
You know why?
It's just-
Because
it's-
it explains all the stuff that they didn't explain in the third movie. It kind of
Partially that.
shows you what the world is, like the rest of the world, and so you're like, okay, this is kind of, oh, this is what happened to that guy. Oh, here's the reason for what they're fighting for, and it's interesting because it's the main characters that we care about. The rest of the movie, it's mostly the main characters interacting with other characters that we don't really give a fuck about.
It's the rest of the characters resolving the overall conflict of not just these last movies, but of the entire
Which
thing.
sucks.
Which was great.
It sucks.
It
It's
was
horrible.
fantastic.
It's you're just trying to piss me off.
But it was confusing as all fuck.
You're just trying to piss me off. You think it's actually better that secondary characters that made up for this resolved all the stuff, interacting with the main characters is better than the main characters resolving it by themselves, interacting with each other, which is what we were there for.
But the main character resolved it.
How did he resolve? Ah, damn it, we can't go into spoilers. And
Each character finishes their arc.
in the dumbest way possible. Like, it couldn't have been dumber.
How so?
I can't go into spoilers.
Well,
But to me, it was the dumbest way they could have resolved that. Because they didn't do anything. Again, it was all showed. It was no show, it was all tell. And it sucked. Particularly one character's entire life story, they just tell you, and it's like, you know what, that would have been awesome if you would have shown that in the movie. That would have been awesome if you actually would have shown us that, instead of just telling us and how that made you feel. It's all a lot of how you... The end is all just a lot of talking about how something made them feel. It's really annoying.
the reason why the final conflict works is
It doesn't work.
Because
it doesn't?
It works perfectly
It's
because
it doesn't?
it overall. That's what I mean. What I meant with the appeal of Ava and why I think it's such a weird fucking story. Even the original series.
The original series makes perfect sense all around to me.
The original series makes no fucking sense.
It makes perfect sense to me, and we will break it down when we break it down.
Especially with the final 2 episodes.
Oh, okay, I'll give you that. But with the movie, it makes
Oh,
sense.
so at the ending, you know.
That's the whole series. That's the ending of the series.
Yes, the part that doesn't make sense.
The ending makes perfect sense.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
25 and
We
26.
will debate it in a couple of weeks. We'll debate it.
I mean, the problem is you have a weird headcanon with Ava.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, so I'm too involved. I can't be objective.
Well,
I agree. I can't be objective.
That is a big problem, yeah. But, I think the reason why Ava has been such an appealing franchise for so long is you have the weird metaphysical shit. You have the rather nonsensical stuff and info dumps that they just drop from out of nowhere, which honestly made my the dungeon master in me so happy. Just like, oh my god, look at all this crazy fucking lore they're just dumping on us, which we've never heard of.
No, it's annoying,
And it's great. But
and everybody knows it for some reason. It's really
it's so fucking good. It made me so happy. Although part of that stuff is also from the manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of the story in this movie comes from the manga.
Fair enough.
So the reason it's called Thrice Upon a Time, I think it's because it's referring to,
The third time they're telling the story.
well, the separate timelines that exist within Ava.
So the first one's the manga, the second one's Neon Genesis Evangelion, and this is the third one?
I don't know if this was the third one, or they consider End of Ava and episode 25 and 26 as separate. But this could be like, this is the third time they're telling the story.
Maybe. I'm gonna buy those mangas just to see if it actually makes any type of sense.
Well, one of the characters, Mari, is introduced way earlier in the manga.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why they brought her into the rebuilds.
Okay. I guess that makes a little bit of sense.
Yeah, and it's a crazy fucking story. It's nonsensical, but ultimately it's relatable because it's about the characters. It's about their struggles within this crazy fucking world. And what is Shinji?
Shinji's the most annoying main character ever. You know what annoyed me about Shinji? First off, he starts off the most annoying he's ever been.
He starts off so good.
The most annoying Shinji's ever been.
Good.
He starts off that way. Then it looks like,
Yes.
okay, it's turning into something. And then it's just, smooth sailing. Like, there was, the conflict really wasn't there. It was just, boop, talking about feelings, resolution.
Listen.
And they did that with a lot, like, for example, they had, let's talk about 4 main characters. Would be Shinji, Rei, Asuka, and Misato, right? From the show. Those would be the 4 mains.
I would not call Misato necessarily the main, but sure.
I'd call her main. But anyway, Rei's storyline is super interesting. It looks like it's going somewhere, ends, and then there's a clean resolution afterwards for no reason. Asuka, same thing. It looks like it's going somewhere. All of a sudden, she gets Asuka'd, and then there's a clean resolution afterwards after she's gone for half the movie. Rei's gone half the movie. Misato, not there half the movie. And then it's, again, they have a very interesting stories for her to tell. And then it's, we're just going to resolve it.
I mean,
and Shinji, they did the same thing, except Shinji's annoying half of the movie. You wish he wasn't there, but he is. And then the second half, when he's there, what it looks like, okay, this is his hero mode. We saw him at his lowest low. Now we got to see him at his highest. We got to see him reach that point. And all of a sudden, it's like, easy.
And he reaches that.
But it's easy. It's annoying. It's easy. Like, there's no struggle. Like, in the actual end of Evangelion, there's a very tough decision that has to be made. Here, it's like, easy.
I wouldn't necessarily say the things Shinji went through to get to that point were easy.
No, and that's his lowest low.
Yeah.
And in this movie, we should have seen him struggle with something even harder. This is the climax, bro. At least the internal or external struggle should have been the worst it's ever been. And we didn't see it.
Without going into spoilers, the entire Evangelion story, the entire point, as we learn the movie, is not just the struggle Shinji has in regards to how he feels about humanity and other people and, his dad.
Yes.
It's about how they feel about him as well. So really, overall, this entire fucking story is about a guy and his son who have a broken relationship. That's the whole Evangelion story. It explores how. Oh fuck! It's hard to do it without spoilers.
I don't agree that that's the heart of the story.
That's the entire point of it.
No.
Yes.
No.
You remember the big fucking thing that appears in the hole on the ground?
Yeah. Listen.
You recognize who that is?
Yeah, I know who it is. But I disagree that it's about him and his dad.
It's about the relationship that they don't have and where it took them both.
I agree that that's the protagonist and the antagonist, but I don't think that's the main story. It's about broken people. And 3 broken people specifically, and they kind of forget about 2 of them. 4th that you don't really count as a main, but I consider her a main too. They just forgot about it. And the thing is, we care about those characters, and they just forgot about them. Except the main one, who's the most annoying.
He's still the main one. They're supposed to serve his story.
Not really.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they do. They help him evolve in different ways.
They're characters in their own right. Like you have an Evangelion map right in front of you. Yeah. You have the main character there, or who do you have?
I have one of the main protagonists.
Who do you have?
It's Rei.
Okay, you just said one of the main protagonists.
Yeah.
So is the story not relevant anymore? Is she not a main?
It is a relevant story, and she had a conclusion.
But they forgot about it.
No, they didn't.
No, they just at one point she just disappears, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, let's just shut everybody up and give her a resolution at the end. Stupid.
You do realize that it's supposed to be a literal Deus Ex Machina, right?
It's bullshit, that's what that is.
That was the same thing that happened in End of Eva.
Nope. Very different.
Literally the same thing.
Very different.
Well, a little bit, because this is actually at a grander scale.
No, the other one... It's really hard not going into spoilers.
Can we go into spoilers of End of Eva?
Yeah.
I mean, in that...
No. When we talk about End of Eva, we'll go into spoilers of End of Eva.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, this is spoiler-free all around, bro. Spoiler-free.
The weird thing is, I don't even know how to spoil this movie. But...
Because it doesn't make any sense.
No, but it is very Eva.
Point is, I did not like this. I hated it.
Is probably... It's a weird movie, definitely. So it starts
It's
off...
a bad movie.
It starts off
Good
with,
first half. It's a good first half. Horrible ending.
Keep in mind, Dario's more of a normie. And he studied film, so... You know, those kids.
I mean, do you disagree that the climax of the movie, the highest point, like the moment you're like, okay, it's going to resolve after this. This is the big kahuna. This is where it's gonna end. Is in the middle of it.
No.
Where's the big kahuna? Where's like the big climax? Where the moment was like, oh, the most epic moment of the movie. That's the climax.
At the end.
It's not. It's not at the end.
Just because the main conflict in terms of actual battles starts at the middle of the movie, that doesn't make it the climax. That just means this is where this part of the movie begins.
The climax is the most exciting moment of the movie. The most relevant, the highest stakes. And the moment you say at the end, it's all downhill, smooth sailing. You're on your bike, you already climbed to the top of the hill, and you're just half of it. Because they're just cruising. They're cruising.
Well, there were some rather large sacrifices that had to be made along the way in order to get there.
And they didn't make any sense, by the way.
They made all of them.
Cruise. And by the way, there were no consequences whatsoever of anything. Cruise.
It's like literally everything ever changed. But I guess that's not a consequence.
No, it's not a consequence. It was stupid. I hated it. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen. At least that's my gut feeling.
Yeah, he just didn't understand it. And
no, you didn't understand it either.
This movie is phenomenal.
You know, first off, Eric doesn't understand
Evangelion
Evangelion in general. He thinks it's aliens.
I know it's aliens.
It's not aliens.
It does have a weird pacing. It is 2.5 hours long. But anime movies, I find in general, have a weird pacing.
I'll give you that.
I don't know if this is just a thing in Japan where they tend to be slower in general, their films. And they dedicate a lot of time to seemingly unimportant things. But fuck it, I don't mind. I've seen plenty of anime movies. And so it starts off with a little bit of action, and then for like an hour 20.
Slice of life.
It's a slice of life.
Best part of the movie, the beginning and that.
And it feels great.
It's fantastic.
Because
why does it feel great? Why does it feel great?
Is
it because the main characters are kind of like hanging there with each other, in spite of Shinji being, like Shinji?
No, it feels great because it has been 8 fucking years.
Yeah.
Or 9? I think it may have been 9. 9 fucking years. And we have been reacquainted with these characters once again. We get to spend time with them. They're being themselves.
Well, no, one's being the worst version of themselves. The other two are being probably the best versions of themselves.
So you're saying he's being himself?
The worst version of himself. This is the worst Shinji's ever been. By far. Listen, I'm not a Shinji guy. I've never been a Shinji guy. He's always annoyed the hell out of me. This is the most annoying he's ever been. Times 1,000.
I'm not arguing Shinji's not a little bitch.
Alright, fair enough. So Shinji's being a little bitch times 1,000. For half the movie. And then you're like, alright, yeah, maybe this is his moment. And which is kind of in the series, and then it's what he does. He's a little bitch throughout, but when the going gets tough, he's like, alright, I'm gonna man up now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, here you don't feel that. You don't feel like he ever steps up to the moment.
He literally doesn't.
But
anyways.
But he doesn't.
He absolutely 100% doesn't.
He absolutely doesn't.
What was I saying? So it's a slice of life, and it feels nice to just see these characters be. Yeah. It makes me think, man, I would just watch an Eva slice of life.
Yeah, because they're great characters. They're great characters.
I wouldn't mind it. You see Rei being the most adorable robot you've ever seen.
A robot girl trying to be a human.
You see Asuka in her underwear just playing Game Boy. Shitting on Shinji. You see Shinji in the corner crying. It's great stuff.
Listen, there's
And the secondary
there-
cast
there-
is really cool.
it's a carrot and stick trying to heal Shinji. You got the carrot with Rei, and then you got the stick with Asuka. It works out. It works out.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a nice.
You're trying to see the new way that Asuka's gonna assault Shinji, and she gets a good few singers in there. It's great.
And she's playing a weird Game Boy Advance thing. It's fun.
Yeah.
And
She doesn't have an eye.
well, she has an eye patch. And then
You get to see the kid friends from the first two movies.
yeah, now all grown up and
One's a
you see
doctor.
their
Where you're
lives.
like, oh man, I wouldn't trust that guy with the scalpel near me, but all right.
One of them I thought died.
I guess they didn't.
I thought he was the one who got ate.
No. All right, listen, you're confusing Neon Genesis Evangelion.
No, in the rebuild. They showed it in the recaps.
No.
Oh, at the beginning of the movie, they recap real quick the first three movies.
No,
not helpful at all.
in the rebuild, it's Asuka that takes that dude's place. And with the Ava that they with Shinji's like, I'm not gonna kill Asuka's in there.
The one where Shinji attacks the nerve.
Yeah.
So they switched. They switched that guy.
Yeah. So in Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's because of that guy. In the rebuild, it's because of Asuka. Asuka's the one that's in there. That's why she can't go to the dinner thing. That's hosted by the doll.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I was gonna say is a lot of this movie is very meta, on purpose.
They also retcon Asuka's story. Now that I think about it, I'm very upset about how they treated Asuka.
It's not a retcon.
Well,
When you see the end.
it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. I get it.
No, and also, well, let's just say this is a very literal title, and what are you looking at?
I'm trying to think. Like Thrice Upon a Time is very literal
Yeah,
with Asuka.
with the entire Evangelion series.
I guess maybe. I don't know.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say.
It's probably stupid because everything you've said
no,
about the
it's-
movie so far is stupid.
Oh no, it's very meta. So to me, it felt
What does meta mean?
it's that it's sort of not only the things that are happening are not just meant to be within the universe. It's supposed to sort of pop out to the audience. Like it's sort of supposed to break the fourth wall.
Uh huh.
There's four walls, right?
Yes. And listen,
Unless it's a really weird room.
they do throw that directly in your face at one point.
Dude, this movie has a fuck ton of fan service,
Yes.
and honestly,
It
to me it just felt like the creators and the animators just going like, just this is for you, audience.
No,
this is just for fun.
To me, it's like, I know we're gonna piss you off, so we're just gonna throw you a few bones. So I know we pissed you off with 3, we're just gonna throw you a few bones.
This whole movie is just full of fan service
It's terrible.
in the best way.
It's the worst way.
It's great.
I mean, the fan service was fine, but the movie's terrible.
And a lot of there's a bunch of references to the series and to End of Ava and obviously the other rebuilds. God, not spoiling stuff is hard.
It's the hardest part. But anyway, we'll just stop there. Like I said, next Otako Tuesday we will be talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion. There we will go into spoilers. There we'll actually break down the fun series. And
we're gonna go into Hideaki Anno's depression.
are we? Why?
Because otherwise it's not Ava.
Fine, whatever. Anyway, as that's it for today. As always, any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can find me at Dario SDW and at Super Dario World. Streaming on YouTube and on Twitch at Super Dario World. Eric, where can they find you?
Look me up on Twitch at Dicky Senpai. It's on the screen. And in terms of, I'm guessing I'm gonna continue the Roger Ebert thing. 2 thumbs up. Great movie if you're a fan of Ava.
You just lost all respect. Well, you never had my respect, but you lost it from the audience. Anyway.
If you're a fan of Ava, obviously you're gonna watch it.
I'm a fan of Ava, and I hated it. What do you mean? I'm a fan of Ava, I hated it.
Well, obviously you're gonna watch it. So
But I'm a fan of Ava, and I hated it. Well, why are you saying that if you're a fan of Ava, you'll like it?
In a year, you're gonna love it.
No.
Yes.
It's been more than a year since I watched Rebuild 3, and I still hate it.
You will change your opinion.
You will realize that you were wrong.
Well, this, but unironic.
No, you will realize you're wrong. Anyway, as always, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.